managing stress with a balanced diet. And my name is Amber Broughton. I am the HHS educator for Marion County, and I'm joined by Cheryl Jones. She is the educator in Hancock County. Beth Schweitzer is the HHS educator in Hendricks County. So let's see, go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, so let's talk about what is stress. Stress is a physical and emotional response to challenges and pressures. It's typically caused by an external trigger, so a stressor. The trigger can be a small event like heavy traffic or a long line at the store. It can be a large crisis event like the loss of a job or a death in the family. A cause of stress for many people lately has been the COVID-19 outbreak and the problems that have occurred because of the outbreak. Stress is a normal part of life. We all encounter stress in a variety of different situations, different forms, and different amounts. What causes stress in one person might not seem like a big deal to somebody else, but it is causing that person stress. The trigger can be short-term, such as a fight with a loved one that ends quickly, or it could be something long-term, like living in poverty, discrimination, or chronic illnesses. People under stress experience mental and physical symptoms, such as irritability, anger, fatigue, muscle pain, digestive troubles, and difficulty sleeping. Chronic stress has shown to suppress your immune system, including increasing your blood pressure, increasing your blood sugar levels, and aggravating underlying conditions like anxiety and depression. Okay, next slide. So let's talk a little bit about stress during an outbreak. So I'm sure I'm not alone in feeling an extra bit of stress during this COVID-19 outbreak, and it can look like different things. It can be anxiety and fear around your own health and loved ones. It can look like depression and sadness. It can look like difficulty with attention and concentration. It can be guilt and feeling overwhelmed about not being able to perform normal work or parenting duties during this time. It can take the form of anger and irritability. In younger children, this might look like excessive crying. It might look like, they're returning to behaviors that they've outgrown. It can also include unhealthy eating and sleeping habits, and we're going to be talking a lot about eating habits when you're stressed out. Stress can worsen chronic health conditions that you already have, and it can also affect mental health conditions that you might already be experiencing. Stress can also include an increased use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. So we're just going to do a quick poll about stress, and Cheryl, if you could bring that up. This is just to see what stress looks like during these last 2 months. So you should see a poll pop up. You can choose more than one answer, and it is completely anonymous. I know myself, I could probably check just about all of those responses right there, but just take about 30 seconds and just think about what has been stressing you out lately, or how that stress looks. Okay, give you maybe 10 more seconds. Okay, So most people have voted. Can we share the results? Okay, you should hopefully see that up there. And I'm sure you can see that you're not alone in the way that stress has been affecting you lately. Changing in sleeping patterns is huge. Changes in eating patterns, anxiety and fear. Yes, all of those things. I definitely understand, and it is taking a toll. So we're going to dive a little bit into unhealthy eating patterns and how that can affect our mood. Without a steady source of fuel from the foods that we eat, our minds and bodies just don't function well. They're not performing the optimum level. Skipping meals can lead to low blood sugar. This will likely leave you feeling weak and tired. Stressful eating might also cause you to cut out entire food groups like fruits and vegetables. Reducing the variety of foods in your diet is associated with worsening your mood and decreased energy. And then the picture shows, all those sugary goodies. Eating too many unhealthy processed carbohydrates can cause your blood sugars to rise and fall rapidly. This can lead to low energy and irritability. The role of diet and nutrition in mental health is very complex, and it has yet to be fully understood. However, evidence is showing that food can contribute to the development, prevention, and management of mental health conditions, such as depression and anxiety disorders. Okay, next slide. We mentioned the physical reactions to stress. So let's talk a little bit about how that looks with our bodies. That could be in the form of having stomach pains or diarrhea, having headaches or other body pains, losing your appetite or overeating, sweating and having chills, getting tremors or muscle twitches, and being easily startled. We said that stress is a normal part of life, but during this outbreak, some of us are more susceptible to stress than others. So this is just, something to keep in mind if, you fit in that category, or if a family member or someone fits in that category, they just might be more susceptible to those stressors that we're all having right now. This could include older people and those with chronic diseases. It could be children and teens, people helping with the COVID-19 response, such as healthcare providers, first responders, grocery store staff, those kind of folks. People that take care of others, such as parents, are also very susceptible to stress. Next slide. Other people that are more susceptible to stress during this time can include people with mental health conditions, people that already have mental health conditions, those that live in lower income households or have language barriers, those experiencing stigma because of their age, race, ethnicity, or disability. So this can include already embedded stigma, or it could be a new stigma caused by the outbreak, such as unfair blaming of the outbreak on one ethnicity or another. So it's just something to keep in mind if you or someone you know is susceptible to stress. Okay, so now we're going to talk about ways that you can keep yourself healthy when those stressors pop up, because it's hard to avoid, those stressors coming at you, but you can kind of equip yourself with ways to deal with that stress. So getting enough sleep and rest. It has been shown that people that get at least 8 hours of sleep are less stressed, less sad, and can manage anger. So maybe try an afternoon nap to supplement your sleep needs if possible. Some people even find that even just a 15-minute nap can really make you feel refreshed. Make sure that you are keeping a healthy sleep schedule for your kids too. A lot of things are changing with them, but they need that structure of a full amount of sleep every night. Also, take time every day to do something that is meaningful, relaxing, and fun for you and your family to do, or even just fun for you to do. Read a book, sit on the porch and look outside, call a friend for a quick chat, have a family movie night, something that brings you joy. Try to do that every day. Practice deep breathing or mindfulness. When you start to become anxious and extremely stressed, try to sit and focus on your breathing for a minute or two. It helps to quiet your mind and help you relax. The more you practice this, the more you will be able to tap into this when you are feeling stressed. So try to practice it when you're not feeling stressed, and you'll get a better you'll be able to tap into that a lot easier. Physical activity. You want to try to get in 30 minutes of physical activity a day. This could be just walking around the house, walking around the neighborhood, putting on some music and dancing. We're all inside together with our families. We could have a family dance contest. I know my 2-year-old doesn't do well with really long walks, so we have a lot of short races just down the street. It's something to get us up and moving, and it's something that she can enjoy too. Other ways to keep yourself healthy: eating healthy foods and drinking lots of water. We will go more into that, ways that you can achieve this later in the presentation. Avoid excessive amounts of caffeine. This is one that I struggle with. I love coffee, but I have to keep it in check if I am feeling stressed out, because it can, kind of increase your heart rate. Avoid using tobacco, alcohol, and other drugs. Often during stressful times, individuals will turn to alcohol and drugs as a coping mechanism. These behaviors can lead to more stress and anxiety afterwards. So it's best to try to avoid those. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Cheryl, and she is going to talk more about nutrition during stressful times.
All right, so Amber, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. There's a little back sound. Thank you. All right, so when we're stressed, a lot of times it can affect our eating habits. And also when we're stressed, we can have low energy, and it can affect our mood. We can feel irritable. We can feel like we're getting angry quicker. So what I want to talk with you about is a lot of these things can happen when we're not eating well too. So if we're already experiencing feeling tired and moody due to stress, the last thing we want to do is then add to that by having poor eating habits that then result in being irritable or feeling low energy. Really, the food that we eat should be providing us with energy. They should be boosting us and making us feel better. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I also want to mention that it's also not only about what you eat, but it's also about when you eat. And we'll go into more depth of that. So just a little kind of pre-thing talking about everything that we'll be covering are your eating habits to consider. So some of the things that I'm going to be talking about are being mindful when you're eating, balancing your meals and your snacks, bridging the gaps between your meals, and then avoiding energy crashes. So first we're going to talk about mindful eating. And before we get started on that, I wanted to do a quick show of hands. It's not going to be a poll. If you look at the very bottom of your screen, there's a thing called reactions, and you can give a thumbs up. So I'm just going to ask how many of you eat while being distracted, whether that's eating while you're caring for your kids, eating while you're watching TV, eating while you're working. How many show of hands? See, I've got one show of hand. I don't know if you guys can find that just down at the bottom for reactions. Well, I know for me personally, I definitely eat while distracted. Whether or not that's working or caring for my kids are probably my two biggest times that I end up being distracted while eating. And so really, I want to encourage people, and not all the time, like I said, there's certain circumstances where you're not going to be able to do this, and it's always in moderation with everything that you do. So but mindfulness is the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something. So being aware while you're eating, being aware of your hunger cues, being aware of your fullness cues, and it's really just trying to pay attention. Are you eating because you're hungry, or are you eating because you're stressed? That's another thing, to try to pay attention to that, to be aware. When you're going to go get food in the refrigerator, is it just because you're used to eating snacks while you watch TV, or some of those things? So really trying to be mindful and aware of that. Overeating can lead to you feeling more tired, and that's what we're trying to prevent. If you're already feeling tired due to being stressed, then we want to avoid that by also being tired because of overeating. And it can take up to 20 minutes before your stomach is able to communicate with your brain and let it know that you're full. And so I'm being aware of that also, slowing down while you're eating, maybe having a smaller portion on your plate so that if you are a fast eater, once you've completed that portion, maybe you wait a little bit before you get any more food, just to make sure that you know if you are full or not. So those are some tips there. Oh, and then I also wanted to share that research shows that those who are distracted while eating tend to eat more, and those that pay attention to their eating or are more mindful tend to eat less. So next I want to talk about balancing your meals and snacks. So first thing to think about is just having a variety of foods from all the different food groups. The reason is because you are getting vitamins and minerals from different food groups that you're not getting from others. And so, low levels of zinc, iron, B vitamins, magnesium, vitamin D, and omega-3 fatty acids are associated with worsening moods and decreased energy. And so if we're not making sure that we're getting a variety of vitamins and minerals, that can be affecting our mood and making us feel not have as much energy. So really trying to get food from each of the food groups. Or if, for vegetarians, really looking at different protein sources, alternate protein sources, to make sure that you're still getting that wide variety of vitamins and minerals. Don't skip meals. If you feel like you aren't going to be able to get a full meal in that day, maybe planning a couple healthy snacks that are easy to on the go is what I would suggest. But don't skip it entirely, because your blood sugar could drop. That's going to make you feel more irritable and also make you maybe a little bit more moody or tired. So you want to try to avoid that crash in your blood sugar is what we're doing there by not skipping the meals. Adding small amounts of healthy fats and proteins can help sustain your energy, kind of slow down that process in your stomach. Also with your high fiber foods, so your fruits and vegetables are high fiber. They're going to help you feel full longer. The proteins and the fat can kind of slow down that digestion, allowing you not to have that extreme spike in your blood sugar once you eat. It kind of just lets that slow release happen. Some really good additives to maybe a snack that you might have for those fats or protein are things like avocados, walnuts, Greek yogurt, things like that might have more of those healthy proteins and fats. And then looking at long-term stress, long-term stress can really affect your brain health. And so that can affect your memory. And so I wanted to include foods that are rich in an omega-3 fatty acids are really important to get into your diet. One, they're really healthy in a lot of other ways, but they also are shown to help improve memory in the long term. So you're not going to eat a salmon one day and it's going to help you find your keys the next day, or let you, have an instant memory boost, but it's looking at the long-term health of your brain and memory. So next is bridging the gaps between meals. So again, you want to pay attention to how your body feels. If you're not feeling hungry, if you are really needing a snack, you might not need it every time, depending on what your meal was consisted of. But, for instance, for my mom or other school teachers I know, they might have to eat their lunch at 11 or 10 in the morning. And then by the time dinner comes around, that's a really long time for them to go without eating. And then that's when you can have your blood sugar crashes and just making you not feel at your tip top. So trying to plan healthy snacks to kind of help bridge the gap so that you're still having the nutrients and everything to keep you going and the energy to keep you going. So with the snacks, I always encourage people to pick like a high fiber food. So your fruits and vegetables are really good, along or a high fiber carbohydrate, I should say, and then pairing that with something like good protein. So like you can have your string cheese, your Greek yogurt, your walnuts, and then pairing those with apples or berries or carrots. Kind of making that connection is going to help extend that snack because your body's going to slow down the process of processing that food with the protein and the fat, but then also the high fiber is going to help you feel full. I apologize. Whenever I just admitted somebody in, and whenever I do something, it wants to kick the PowerPoint off. All right, let me get that PowerPoint going again. I apologize. Gotta love Zoom and technology sometimes. All right, I'll share my screen again. There we go. All right, so then the last thing that I'm going to cover is avoiding energy crashes. So Amber kind of mentioned that before with your caffeinated beverages, but really it's also anything with added sugars. So if you're just grabbing a candy bar, you're going to get a spike in your blood sugar and then you're going to feel a lull. So it might seem like a great idea to grab that, Starbucks or that candy bar, or really any refined carbohydrates, putting, your white breads, a pastry maybe for breakfast, things like that. If you're really trying to think about food as a way to help with your energy, because if you're already struggling with stress and you already have low energy, then you have to be really purposeful with your, or pick your food purposefully, so that you're choosing foods that are going to give you energy and not also then make you even more tired. So trying to avoid those foods that are going to give you that quick burst of energy, but then kind of take that away. And that's the same with your energy drinks and all of that. So just trying to avoid those things. And I really encourage you to choose foods and be mindful about the foods that you're picking to provide you with energy, and not foods that are kind of draining you or taking your energy away. But now I'm going to pass it along to Beth.
guess I need to unmute. Okay. Hi, I'm Beth Schweitzer from Hendricks County. I'm also, like Cheryl, a registered dietitian, so you guys are getting double whammy today. But I appreciate following Amber and Cheryl. They've done a great job, and I get to talk to you about fruits and vegetables. And for those of you who know me, that is my issue, I guess. People tend not to eat fruits and vegetables, and I get it, but I really don't know why. So you're going to have to eat a rainbow. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically the colors of the rainbow should be the color of your foods. And that sounds great. And a lot of people, basically kids, when I discuss this with kids, they're like, I eat red. They eat a red apple. And I said, no, I want the color to go all the way through the food. So don't eat a red apple's fine, but what I'm looking for would be a cherry, a strawberry, a raspberry, something that goes all the way through. So when you're eating colored foods, make sure the color goes all the way through, because really, what color is a red apple? You're right, it's white. And that's not what we want. We want them to eat the colors because the colors have the nutrients. I'm sure some of you have a child like I have, or children, and she was a dietitian's curse. The child would not eat any fruit and vegetable. Well, she'd eat fruits, but never a vegetable, never a vegetable. And I'm like, okay, she's smart, but I'm smarter. So we had fruit at our house, and she had to eat blueberries, blackberries, or raspberries every day, because nutritionally speaking, the berries have the same nutrients that you would find in broccoli, carrots, and things like that, which she is not going to go near. Then she also had to make smoothies with them. That's what she did. And she just threw the fruit in with some juice, and presto changeo, she ended up with a smoothie. She goes, broccoli would not make a very good smoothie. And I tend to agree with her. So she could eat those. She just had to eat, she could eat those nutrients. She just had to choose them wisely. So that was a good way we did it. Make sure you're using fruits and vegetables at snack time, anytime, all times. You don't have to just do it for dinner. And a lot of people think, okay, if I ask you right now, what did you have for dinner last night as far as a vegetable, you can probably tell me something. And we are in the state of Indiana. I've lived here all my life. And I can tell you, the men in the state of Indiana eat 3 vegetables. Do you have any idea what they are? Corn, potatoes, and green beans. Of those 3 in the land of dietetics, which one is actually a vegetable? I should have done this as a quiz. The answer is green beans. Corn and potatoes are actually starches. You know, technically speaking, okay, it's probably a vegetable. The next one is tomatoes, and the tomato is it a fruit or a vegetable? And I argued with a group of kids about this, and I said, you know, I really don't care if you call it a picnic basket. I want you to eat it. I don't care if you call it a fruit or a vegetable, just eat the darn thing. And they're like, oh, that's true. So think about what it is. What do you want to argue with these kids? And I just want them eating the right foods. If you're a child, or if you have children or grandchildren, nieces and nephews, you know they will get hungry before dinner time, like mine would. And I'm like, oh, criminy, what is she going to eat now? And she would eat a bowl of cereal, which is fine, or she would eat fruit snacks or whatever. And I'm like, you know, why don't you eat your salad before the meal? And she could have a lettuce salad, or she could have a fruit salad, and she'd eat it an hour before dinner. And I remember people coming over and they're like, why is your daughter eating? I said, look what she's eating. And they're like, oh, she's eating fruits and vegetables. And I said, yes. So, you know, try to incorporate those foods all throughout the day. But if your kid's hungry, they're hungry. I get it. I mean, when we're hungry, we wouldn't want to be told, well, we don't like being told, you have to wait an hour, then you can eat. We're adults, so we can go fix that. However, a child sometimes doesn't have that luxury to go get whatever they want. So think about it and serve them the foods that they may not want, but you're going to have them eat them. And then make the food fun. And if the kids are involved in it, chances are they're going to eat it. It's kind of like their art project they did in school, and they'll bring it home and they say, look, Mom, don't you love my giraffe? And I'm looking at it like, I don't see a giraffe at all. But yes, it looks marvelous. And same thing with food. If the kids are involved in the food production, meal production, they'll be more inclined to eat it, just like we are. I know if you make a meal and someone says, ooh, I don't like this, none of us really like that feeling at all. So your response, if it's like mine, well, you're out of luck. Either eat this or go make yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's what we're having. So you have to think about what you're doing, but get the kids involved. Excuse me. And they make fun things like a banana sandwich, that's bananas with peanut butter or any nut butter. Apple slices, They basically make apple smiles. Ants on a log, and I think we all grew up with ants on a log. I guarantee you there's a generation that does not know what ants on a log are. I'm not sure that's the right term to say, but that's what we call them. And it's celery with either peanut butter or cream cheese, and the ants would be raisins, craisins, yes, chocolate chips, but whatever. Do so in moderation. And I think Cheryl would agree. We're not going to sit there and say no food is a bad food. We're just going to tell you to eat everything in moderation. And that's what you're going to have to do. Can you flip the slide, please? Okay, increase fruits and veggies. Fresh produce and COVID-19. I don't know if you've heard this, but this has become an issue. Surprising. There's a Dr. Amanda Deering. She's a PhD in food microbiology and food safety at Purdue University. And her quote is, from all indication, the virus, COVID-19, that causes COVID-19, can be transmitted easily like other viruses. So can the common cold be transferred through fruits and vegetables? Sure. But does that mean we don't eat fruits and vegetables? No. Does that mean what? We wash, and wash. And wash your hands. I'm sure you've been told that since this whole thing has started, is wash your hands. And they want it under lukewarm running water for 20 seconds, sing a song, count, whatever. Wash your hands, rinse them off, and dry them with a clean towel. And also wash your produce. And some people, I know people who will taste cherries, blueberries, blackberries in the grocery store, pop it in their mouth to see if it's sweet. Okay, in my thought process, technically that's stealing that fruit, or you're stealing it. You didn't pay for it, you're stealing it. It also hasn't been washed. So be careful, think about what you're doing. And has it been running under cold running water for 2 minutes? I don't think so. So how do you wash produce? Cold running water for 2 minutes. What does that mean? That means set a timer, people. You got timers in your kitchen, set a timer and try to figure out how long is 2 minutes. It's a long time. Faucets now have all kinds of things where you can have a spray option. If you have that spray option, put your produce under in a colander and let it run. And my daughter, I had her wash the grapes and she turned the water on and ran it under and she turned it off and she goes, I'm done. I said, no, you're not. Do it again. She goes, how long? I said, 2 minutes. She goes, well, how long is that? So I said, set the timer. She set the timer and she goes, holy cow, this is long. I said, yeah, you're not washing it long enough. So environmentally great for the water? Probably not. So you can take your choice. What is it you want to eat? And I'm not a big fan of dirt, so I'm like, get rid of it. Okay, Cheryl, can you flip it again? Okay, fruits and they come in a variety of modes, methods. You can get them however. You can get them fresh to dried. And fresh fruits, basically, those are easy. If you need 1 cup of fresh fruit, you need 2 cups of fruits a day. Now you're gonna sit there and say, that's a lot of fruit. Yeah, it is. You need 3 cups of vegetables. So that's 5 cups of fruits and vegetables. That is a lot a day. But we are big people and we have to eat a lot a day, but we can either fill up on this or we can fill up on chips and crackers and cookies. I'm gonna tell you to fill up on this. So 1 cup of fresh fruits, 1 cup of 100% fruit juice, or half a cup of dried fruit. And dried fruit is great. And some people like to take it when they go hiking. And hiking is now getting a thing to do because we can actually keep our distance from people when we're hiking. However, when you are hiking, do not take a lot of dried fruit. What happens is people need fluid to rehydrate that fruit. And if you don't drink the fluid to go with the dried fruit, you could have a dehydration issue. So that's fine, eating dried fruit, but do so in moderation. And then you need 3 cups of vegetables. Now that one is a huge challenge. And I'm going to talk to you today about some recipes we're going to try, and you can see how you can quickly do them. You need 1 cup of raw or cooked vegetables. That's doable. I mean, a cup is not that much. And you need 2 cups of leafy greens, or it's your salad. So if you're eating a salad, you need 2 cups of that fluff. And you do need that, and it's good for you. So just go ahead and do it. Now, what we do is we tend to cover our salads on a lot of high-fat foods like salad dressing, croutons, bacon bits, cheese, and boiled eggs, things like that. So maybe you can try something different with your vegetables. The goal, I'll be nice. Instead of having 5 cups of fruits and vegetables, I'll give it to 4.5. Ask yourself or your kids how many vegetables they had yesterday. You'll be surprised at the answer. and ask them how many servings of fruit they had. The fruit is a lot easier because a lot of them will drink the juice, and if you get a can of juice in a vending machine or something, it's easily going to be a number that you really don't need. It's going to be way more, and that's okay, but you are going to get one. So those are the fruits. Eat them fresh to dried. And go ahead, Cheryl, you want to do the next? Okay, I'm going to put my gloves on. How do you like that? We're going to make a fruit salsa. And this is an odd recipe. I started it years ago at the county fair, of all things. Took it in. I remember we had people in my office just eating this because they absolutely loved it. And it's so easy to do, and I'm amazed how many people enjoy it. But to start with, this one has fresh, frozen, canned, and dried all in it. So fresh, we're going to use fresh apples. So I have an apple that is sliced here. Where's that camera? Oh, there. It's an apple, it's sliced, and if you notice, the apples are still white. Why are they white? Because I used, anybody know what I used? Yeah, I used Fruit Fresh, and it is a food preservative, and it's turns your apples, it keeps them nice. And I did these hours ago, so you can see that's very nice. So you just add apples. The nice thing about this fruit salsa is, in all honesty, you can add pretty much anything you want. So I have apples, so we're going to add some apples. About Fruit Fresh and fruit, it does work. When my daughter was in elementary school, I would get these phone calls, and they would say, nothing like having a parent call you when your daughter's in elementary school saying, I'm like, oh, criminy, what did she do now? So the question was, how does Allison's apples, how do they stay white when she brings them to school? And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're actually looking up my phone number to call me and ask me that. And one night, I think I had 4 phone calls, and they said, yeah, our daughter's telling us that Allison's apples are white, and that's what they want. So Fruit Fresh is the key to white apples. Okay, so that's the fresh. The frozen I'm going to use are frozen raspberries. You can use frozen strawberries or frozen raspberries. I'm using raspberries because I like them. The other thing is they're also a great source of fiber, and they're fun, and it's a pretty food to eat. So add some. You can see this is very labor intensive. So add yourself some frozen raspberries, and the excellent source of fiber is in these raspberries. So not only are you getting the nutrients, you're also getting a great source of fiber. So try that. And then we have canned. This is the great secret ingredient. I'm using canned pineapple, a large can of it, and I'm not draining it. So remove the lid and simply put it in there. That's kind of a mess. Okay, so we've added the pineapple, and I use crushed pineapple, and its natural juice. So you can see I have really done, the only thing I cut up was the apple. So this is so not difficult at all. And then my dried version, you can do anything. I'm adding dried cherries because I like them. You can do, you can do dried cranberries, or you can do dried cherries, and I'm using dried cherries. Why? Because I can. So we're gonna add the cherries. And then simply stir this up. Now, if you notice, I did not have to do anything to the raspberries. They are frozen. I'm dropping everything. They are frozen, but they will mush up nicely. And then the pineapple adds enough juice to make it work. And this is a very popular recipe. If you noticed, I did not add any sugar. Some people would add honey, sugar, whatever. I used the pineapple and juice. The raspberries didn't have any sweetener on it. The apple is just naturally sweet. And your dried cherries actually are the form of sugar that I'm using for this. But this is a great choice of colors. My daughter likes this, and she eats a lot of it. And she puts it on her pancakes, her waffles, whatever. She'll also eat it as a snack. It's very good with graham crackers, vanilla wafers. It's also great with cinnamon chips. And seasonally, you can find cinnamon chips year round. I really don't quite understand why they don't always have them year round. I mean, you buy them usually seasonally. And around Christmas, you can find various chips that are seasonal. And they're cinnamon flavored. And those are kind of fun. So what I have today is my container, Purdue, your cup, and I'm just going to add some dip in there. and serve it with these. These are cinnamon sugar pretzels, which are fun, low fat, and tasty. So there you go. And I will just put some of my dip in there and we will be good to go. So this is a great dessert. If you want to make it like a nacho type thing, you can put this on the cinnamon chips like you would nachos. And the topping, instead of sour cream, you can use sour cream that is mixed with a sweetener or a sugar-free sweetener. And it will serve as like your sour cream on tacos or nachos. And it will add, you can use a fat-free cream or fat-free whipped topping and sprinkle some sugar in there, a little bit of vanilla, and you're good to go. So there is your.
Would you like us to run your poll for your?
Yes, would you please?
Yes.
Yeah, because you notice the fruit I put in there is what I had, what we like. So it was easy enough to do. But your poll is asking you, what would you add to personalize your fruit salsa? What would you add to give it that black color or purple color, the blue color? The deeper the color of the fruit or vegetable, the more nutrients it packs. So blueberries right now are in season. So blueberries would be good, easy to do, just dump them in there. And black raspberries or purple grapes. And I'll give you about, looks like maybe everybody's. We may have everybody who's already voted. Okay, so it looks like blueberries are the winner. Not a bad choice because it is blueberry season. So you can add blueberries, but you can really see how quick and easy that is to make. I'm going to move my camera maybe so you can see. See? I think you should all ooh and ah over that, but whatever. But yeah, so there's your choice. And that's how you can eat fruits quickly. And I tell you, after you've been cutting grass or working on a farm, this is great to come in and have for a snack. So that's taking care of the fruits. Now, there's the issue of dealing with vegetables. And this is truly something that I've never found a whole lot of people who like vegetables. But we're going to somehow show you something that's very easy and easy to do. And what I'm going to have you or show you how to make would be vegetables can make great dips or taco enrichment. So I'm going to make a corn black bean dip, and you can actually do this and then serve it with, when you're serving tacos, just serve it. This is a great recipe if you have people coming over, but you know, you didn't know they were coming. And it's like, oh shoot, what are we going to serve them? Serve them this, because most of us have canned black beans. If you don't have canned black beans, buy them, put them in your pantry and use them. I am the queen of shortcuts. If I don't know the shortcut, I'm on my way to find it. So I use canned black beans, and I have already drained and rinsed these. And I do that for a reason. Black beans, if they're not rinsed, do not look all that great. They're just ugly. But these look pretty nice. Once you drain them, you can see it looks like an actual black bean. So you put a can of drained black beans in there. Then I will add a can of corn. And you can use fresh corn, grilled corn, frozen corn, canned corn. Just make sure it's not cream corn. That would be a bit of a mess. So you're going to add corn to this. And if you see, I'm not adding anything else. I have chosen to use the vegetables that don't have any seasoning on them. You can find like black beans already seasoned. If you want them, use them, but it's going to add your sodium to it. And this will have enough sodium once I add the next ingredient, which is salsa. If you want to just make your own salsa, go ahead. Or you can do tomatoes and peppers and onions. But we're going to add some salsa to this. And I'm going to finish it up with, what do you think? Cheese. I don't know if I put the cheese on there. Yeah, did I? No, I didn't. So you can add cheese. You can also add fresh jalapeno and anything you want to add. I do like very hot food. People that come to my house are kind of leery to eat because they know I cook hot food. My nephews used to come and they're like, what's in it? Whenever I'd make something, they're like, what's in it? I'm like, oh, sorry. Yeah, you might like it and you might not. So here's your corn, potatoes and green beans. Here's your corn and the black beans. And then I will add shredded cheddar. Boom. And this is great serving on the side with tacos. Some people put it in their tacos and they will do it with a rice mixture or whatever, and they will use that instead of the ground beef, ground turkey, or whatever they're using for tacos. So this is another very fast, you can see, doesn't take a whole lot of prep. Presto changeo, you got a dip. This dip, if you notice, it's at room temperature. I don't have anything heavy in it. There's not a sour cream base or a cream cheese base. It's just corn, black beans, salsa, and cheese. Add jalapenos if you want. That's fine. It's fun. It's good. You can do that. And what do I serve that with? I will put it on a container in a bowl, and we will serve it with a side of tortilla chips. Of course, you could do the baked tortillas. There are some of those that are out there which would be lower in fat, but still as satisfying. So there's that. And
Beth, we're at 10 till 1, just so you know.
I really want to eat some of this. I don't think you want to see that, but I really want to. So there, I'll pick this up again. I'm gonna take these off. So you can see this again. I think I can do this right. Can you see anything?
A little lower. There you go.
No. Alrighty. So, and actually kids like it. I have a rule in my house with my daughter. She's now 27, 28. She's a pharmacist. But when she was here living with us, we had a rule. Whenever she had friends over at her house, I said, if the kids came over, I would ask every kid when they came in the house, I said, have you had your vegetable today? Have you had a fruit or a vegetable today? And this one girl looked at my daughter and she goes, is she serious? And Allison goes, yes, she's serious. So you better answer the question. And I said, well, you got this or you got this. You can choose whichever one you want, but you are going to eat it before you leave here. She goes, she is serious. And Allison goes, yeah, she is. So I would do this forever. And then I get a note from my daughter. I'm upstairs, she's downstairs, and she goes, Mom, you're not going to believe what's going on down here. That is not the phrase parents want to hear when their kid is in the basement with mixed boys and girls. You don't want to hear that. And I'm like, what is going on down there? She goes, they're taking pictures of your food. I said, what? She goes, they're sending it to their mom saying, why don't we have snacks like this? What food did they have? They had a fruit tray. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. So they really enjoyed it. So make it and they will eat it. I honestly believe that. So one of the kids, actually, he was probably 23. He was at a golf outing and he sent Allison a text and he goes, send this picture to your mom. And I got it. And he goes, I'm teachable. Look what I'm eating at this golf outing. Vegetable tray and a fruit tray. I'm like, oh, you are teachable. So it's going to take it. You know, they're going to have to be made to eat this stuff. But if you make them and they're appealing and they're colorful and they're tasty, they'll do it. So, hey, Cheryl, do you have luck with your boys?
Yeah, they actually do like fruits and vegetables. My youngest, he's still trying to put up a fight at 3, but I often like to do, honestly, kind of when you said before meals, if they're really hungry, super easy. When I do grocery shopping, I get my vegetables and I pre-cut them and I put them on a tray and then I cover the tray. And I have some ranch that I'll serve with it, but I put that out and I kind of say, like, if you're hungry before dinner is ready, here is what you can eat. And so if they're really hungry, they'll eat it. And if they're not very hungry, they'll just wait. But
Right.
That's kind of my way, and they usually eat it. So,
I mean, how about you, Amber? Does your daughter eat pretty well, fruits and vegetables?
She's okay.
Yeah.
She will eat fruit and vegetables. She's pretty good at trying them, but yeah, it's not her favorite, but we're working on it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird what they eat and don't eat, and they will survive in spite of us, you know.
Yeah. So we do have a question, Beth, and I kind of in the chat answered from what I know, but I wanted to pose the question to you as well, and you, Amber, as well, to see if you guys knew. But it said there's been a lot of discussion lately about soaking fruit, especially strawberries, with vinegar. Is washing with cold water sufficient, or should you ideally be soaking your fruit with vinegar too? My response was that the CDC recommends the method that Beth had shared, but I didn't, and I wasn't aware that vinegar, of any research or any information on vinegar being better, but I wanted to see if you guys had a answer as well.
Amber, do you want to say anything?
That would be my same answer as well. I don't think it would hurt, but I don't think it would do much.
I personally think it would taste terrible.
Yeah.
I will tell you the example I had. My husband and I were out eating, and he ordered a dessert for us. He goes, let's split dessert. And I said, okay. And we took a bite of it. It was strawberry shortcake. I took a bite of it. I said, stop eating. He goes, what's wrong with it? I said, can't eat this. Stop eating. He goes, what's wrong with it? And I'm like, this is vinegar. And what they did is they put strawberry salad dressing on the strawberry shortcake. The restaurant has strawberry salad dressing. That's what they put in it. The vinegar is there. It's going to naturally stop growing of things, but basically CDC, that's Center for Disease Control, the recommendation is cold running water for 2 minutes. That is a long time. Just watch it. And hopefully you get a faucet that does a spray thing. If not, go get the attachment and screw it on your sink, and that helps. But set the timer. They also used to have something called, I don't know if it was called Fit, and it would wash your fruits and vegetables. And I think they used peroxide. And our stomach is not designed to eat peroxide on a regular basis. So they kind of told people that, well, when you washed with it, you got this dirt. Well, you know what? If you wash with anything and you check what's afterwards, you would still get dirt. You know, vinegar is going to affect the taste. Cold running water, of course, strawberries do grow on the ground, and what grows on the ground is fair game for anything walking through that field that just decides to use a bathroom. It does. It's not nice to talk about, but that's what happens. I'd use cold running water. But basically, you know, that's your safest bet. Yeah, you could use vinegar. Keep in mind it's going to alter the taste. But anything else?
Great. So if there are any other questions, please feel free to comment those in the comment box. And then if not, I also would like to encourage you to share with us what your biggest takeaway was from today's lesson. Was there something that you felt like was new, something that you enjoyed learning about? But please comment that in the chat box. And we'll monitor for any other questions as well.
I thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
I'll rearrange things here and maybe get another picture of this. I don't know. How do I know if I'm doing? Shoot, I can probably pull this off. Oh, that's great. There. How's that?
It looks very yummy. I wish we were in person so we could all share.
Oh, I know. It does make you hungry. So, well, I'm glad you guys could come and participate. Yeah, please write in or write in the chat box. What did you learn today? And I guarantee you learned something. Somewhere, somehow, you learned something. So please share with us what you learned. And I'll answer any questions if you ask them.
Thank you so much for all the responses. And everyone have a good day. So thank you.
Enjoy the sunshine.
Thank you.
Yes.
Be safe, be healthy.